All right, good morning, you guys. So today is Monday, July 28th, 2025, and I'm back here on the foreign currency markets. We're looking at a 5 minute chart for pound dollar. And so, what I want to take you guys' attention to is our London session high right here and our London session lows. Okay, so we have our buy side and our sell side liquidity for London. And so, I'm going to dress these up nicely. So we got London, buy side, liquidity. Okay. And down here, we have London, sell side. Nope. Okay. And so with our buy side and our sell side liquidity, essentially what we're looking at are highs and lows in the marketplace between 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. And that range creates two positions where you may get people wanting to buy on a breakout or trying to catch in on a move that's already happened. Okay, and so what we get is London buy side, London sell side liquidity, and these are sensitive areas in price action because they're highs and lows within a range, and that range is marked by the high and the low, or the highest high and the lowest low during the uh, London trading session. Okay, so in this particular instance here, what we ended up getting is a London buy side liquidity sweep and sell side liquidity sweep. So first, we got our London sell side liquidity sweep here. Then we got buy side liquidity taken up here. So we get this double purge. And so this is not a new concept. It's another one of ICT's concepts. If you were to look at his ICT 2022 mentorship, I believe the first trade that he breaks down in that series has what we call now a double purge in it. I think it's like the 2022 mentorship episode 3. All right, so looks like I was having a bit of technical difficulty here. Um, my internet it went in and out for some reason. But anyways, I was talking about how we had our double purge in liquidity. So we got London buy side liquidity swept. Well, first we got London sell side liquidity swept. Then we got London buy side liquidity swept. It purged. Okay. And so what we got there is a double purge. And that's one of the concepts that I was talking about. That's a part of ICT's concepts, that double purge theory. And so we're getting a nice run up here, which is, I mean, it's permissible in this price action here. One key thing that I really want to note and take into account here is that um, it's 10:06 now, and we have a medium impact news event at 10:30, and so it's moving quite a bit, against the direction that I was aiming for. Um, but we'll see how it all pans out. So I'm gonna be cautious about taking positions on my other accounts. But one of the things that I want to talk about that I started implementing in my last few trades is how I like to be taking 80% of a losing position off when price reaches a certain level. So in this case here, we're at $41 and I'm risking $125. Okay. And so basically what I want to do is take off 80% at the point where that's half of 125. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to 125. I'm just going to calculate here when I want to pull off. So we're going to go with 62 divided by 0.8. So when we get to 77, we'd be pulling off 0.8 of our position. And right now that loss is at 24. So at about 78, I'm going to be pulling 0.8 off. And when that 0.8 comes off, I'd be at a $62 loss already accepted. So that's kind of like my way of managing my losses better now. It's just taking off 80%. So managing my losers is the way I manage my winners. I think it helps out a whole lot. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until we get back down below this 5-minute fair value gap before I enter in on my other accounts. But you can see here my 1 to 2, and I can take this off here. And I do want to highlight this double purge action here. I want to annotate it a little better. So just excuse me for wanting to make it look nice. I'm going to do this here. Oops. Delete that one. This black dash line, and then right here. So we got our purge up here. You see that? How this this buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, how it was inversed there, and then we don't even come all the way back up to consequent encroachment of this 5-minute breaker block. And so I was saying how I'd really like for us to reclaim this 5-minute fair value gap right here. So it's a sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency, and you can see what price colored outside the lines a bit, which is fair and permissible. But now I'm waiting for price action to dip back down below this 5 minute fair value gap, and it could be reclaimed as resistance. Right now, it's in a position between either acting as support or resistance, but I wanted to go ahead and choose that side of being resistance. Now, one other key level that we can note here now as well on the 5 minute time frame, and I'll see how this holds up because we got price contending with it now. But we have this 5 minute propulsion block because it runs into a breaker right there. And so that makes this here a 5 minute propulsion block. And I'd like to see the propulsion blocks characteristics start to pan out here soon, especially upon that news event release at 10:30. I'm expecting for this propulsion block here, and I'm going to annotate it here a little better here soon. But this propulsion block, I'd like for it to display the characteristics of being very much a strong resistance, meaning we'll get to see an animated price swing that propulses price. That's why it's called a propulsion block, but it propulses price. So it's a quick, energetic price move that it creates off of that level, which is that small red horizontal line. And so I like to see price propulse away from it, creating this 5 minute inverse. Well, I'm sorry, it's a reclaimed 5 minute SIBI is this level here. But this is a 5 minute order block. I'm sorry, propulsion block, which is a type of order block. And that's kind of messy. I think that line will do the job. Fair enough. And I was talking about how double purge theory is as part of ICT's concepts. You can see a trade where this type of price action here, where both London and buy side liquidity get swept, it's where both sides of the market are taken out, and then a true move occurs. And so that's what we're getting here in price action now. And so I believe it's the ICT 2022 mentorship episode 3. It's the very first trade that he showcases in that mentorship. But it's the one you can check out to see what we've coined double purge theory. Because I don't even believe that's something that he named it, but it's something that I've heard other ICT students dub as, double purge theory. And so I just went along with that name. But we'll see how this one here delivers. And like I said, if this 5 minute fair value gap gets reclaimed, I'd like to see it act as resistance, and then I'd use that as an entry, okay, on my other accounts. So 5, 4, and 2, 7. So I'm gonna go with a 5, 4, and a 2, 7. I'll write that down. So right now I'm already on a 5, 4, and a 50K. I'll be on a 0.27 lot on my 25K accounts. All right, so we're starting to get this nice rejection here. So that propulsion block is behaving in a mechanism like what I would like to see it do. So you see this large down closed candle. I like to see it really get heavy down below here. And then I want to use that 5 minute fair value gap. Like if we get back on it and tap it, I'm willing to go short on my other accounts. And really, I could just enter here on all of my accounts. But I'm just going to wait. I've already entered on this account, but we're getting at about the level that I entered at. So I could enter here if I want to, um, with a strong measure of conviction that price is most likely going to continue to move lower. Now, all the way to my take profit, I'm not so sure about that. That's the one thing I'm not, just really certain about on this trade, or something I'm thinking is going to be most likely to occur, because that's a lot. I think ultimately we'll get down there. You can see me here. I'm zooming out to show you guys this market maker sell model. So this is on the 1 hour time frame, but you can see we got this news event back here on the 16th. I think it was PPI. This nice big range that was created by that news driver. And how price worked within that. But I think that created a nice area where price may want to revisit that, and we do eventually get down here below that low. So this is a daily low. So let's go up to the daily chart. So see that low there on the 16th. Now, we still have this here that may form as an imbalance. And we also have this smaller imbalance right here, which I'm expecting to be more like a breakaway gap. Okay. And so I want this to stay open. But here inside the daily, we have this 4 hour range, which I'm hoping we stay heavy on dollar. So dollar has been playing catch up. And if dollar stays strong, then this move shouldn't have any problem panning out, at least to right here. So I'm going to say 3385. That's where I like to see price go, or at least get to. And it's most likely where I'd be taking something off. Taking off 80%. Okay, so we got that move. Let me get back into what I said I'd be doing here, because now it's time to do it. So I said I was going to put a 0.27 lot on my 25K accounts and a 0.54 lot on my 50K accounts. Once we got that retest, okay, and I'm looking at it here now. Before I enter, I see here it's not testing it in the manner by which I was expecting it to. So it ran right back over it, which is interesting, right? Because now my eye is drawn to the propulsion block, of course, but my eye is also drawn to 50% of this wick high right here. So I'd like to see if it were to come back up higher. I don't want to see it close above 50% of this wick high. I think that'll be a little troublesome. And then I'd also be looking to take something off of my account. But, we want to manage our losses in the same way that we manage our wins. And so that's that insight that I gleaned from what I believe, spending time with the Lord and designating, this to Him, in my way of, showing that happen, so that He can receive the glory for it. How spending that time with Him shows that He'll give you something back. It's time in His presence and inviting Him in, to what you're doing. It goes a long way. And my pastor was talking about that. And I'm liking how this is closing here. I'm going to go ahead and enter 0.27. Had a nice rejection away from that. 0.27 on my 225K accounts. I like that rejection away from that 5-minute reclaimed SIBI or bearish fair value gap. So it's pretty nice, actually. I like to see this one pan out pretty well. But, I'm not going to get too ahead of myself. Just work to stay level-headed, ready to do whatever I have to do in order to make sure I trade my plan. But we got a 5-4 here on this account. Go ahead and sell that. And I do have to go back and set my stop loss and take profits here now. So I just put in my stop loss and TP for that other 50K account. And now the 25K accounts. I'll set those stop loss and take profits. And so we're getting a nice run back up into this. And again, my eyes on that 0.54%. And what's this one? 62. So at 40, I'll be taking off 80% on these 25K accounts. If we were to get really animated above consequent encroachment of this wick here, and also consequent encroachment of this wick right here as well. So both of those consequent encroachment levels are something I have my eye on. And that consequent encroachment is actually at about that candle's high. And so I don't really like to see too much of this, but I want to see price respect at least one of these. And like I was saying before, something will be coming off if we just don't get that, right? So 80%. Let's go ahead and wager that in. In case we have to resort to that. So we got 40. No, it's going to be 0.27 times 0.8. So we got a 21. I'm going to say 22. I'm going to take off a 22 and a 44, respectively. So 22 at 25K and 44 at 50K. If we have to. And so we got that news event, which is a medium impact news event occurring at 10:30. And I'm hoping this here is the manipulation. Kind of want to draw buyers in at a higher price. relative to our daily range. At least mostly relative. Let's see here. Yeah. So we didn't get much of a manipulation higher. We've been down for most of the day. I see I could frame a buy actually based on the power of three. So that's one of the things I may have to note about this particular position here is the fact that I was also able to frame, or it's possible to frame a buy in this market, and I didn't see that before. But I mean, we could just come all the way back up into here, and that'll still be like a unicorn, right? So the level I'm talking about now is this one here. So that'll be about our third significant premium array that we have to see price run through. And now it's 10:30. Let's see how price responds here. But this is a 5-minute FVG that I really was expecting to bearish FVG, expecting to stay open. Wanted to be a breakaway gap, but we might not get that. But we see, we'll see, or we might, be ready for either scenario. Kind of just be, lackadaisical about either scenario. But this here could function as a bullish order block, or order block or propulsion block, depending on how you view these two down close candles. But we see what happens if price were to get back down into this level here. And so again, I mean, if we were to get to at about a $40 loss on this count, I'd be taking off 80% of the position. Just want to stay, pretty level-headed on this trade, and I think I'm doing a good job with that. Just want to stay level-headed with everything that we do. So I definitely have some rust to knock off with my speed cubing. Uh, that's what you hear me doing in the background. But it's something I like to do to, kind of keep me from over managing my trades. That was a decent one at 1351. But yeah, I mean, with this cube, man, I've gotten as fast as about 11 seconds on average. That was when I was really really into it. Again, uh, yeah, just making some little mental errors with my cubing.